Hello everybody, Jack here. I wanted to talk today about a book that I recently read. It's called Big Magic, and it's actually the second time I've read this book by author Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, I don't normally do book reviews, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this particular book because I'm a big believer and a big supporter in creativity. I think that as an artist, the most important thing you can do is nurture your creative spirit. And sometimes, as an artist, that can be hard to do. You can get discouraged, you can get blocked, you can get bad reviews, on and on and on. There's tons of reasons why, as artists or actors or performers or musicians or writers or cartoonists, whatever you are, wrestler, whatever you are, you can get discouraged and you can sometimes get down on yourself and find that, you are looking for a reason to move on or looking for proof that what you are doing is valid. This book by Elizabeth Gilbert is very, very, very helpful in that department. It's helpful in you finding your own creative spirit, your creative voice. And she is very, very down to earth. She's the author of Eat, Pray, Love, which was a best-selling novel. And she knows what she's talking about because she's been writing her entire life. One mistake a lot of artists make is they take their creativity or their art and they kind of make it sacred. Or they sort of have it like, they kind of see it as something very precious. And what Elizabeth Gilbert tries to get across mainly in this book is that it doesn't have to be that way. You can approach your art just like you approach anything else in your life. Just like you wake up and you brush your teeth. You can get up and you can write a few pages of your novel. You can get up and you can draw. You can get up and you can play a little bit of your music. Whatever it is you do, you can do a little bit of that each day and just integrate it as part of your life. And don't treat it as this precious thing, like art is this thing with a capital A and only a select few get you have to be very serious about it. That's not how it has to be. Art is very playful, and as an artist you have to learn to be comfortable with that and to learn to just play with it and be happy with what you're doing, because that's the main reason that we are creative. That's the main reason that we do want to make art, is because it makes us happy. And at times an artist's life can get hard. It can get frustrating. Maybe you are working and you're not feeling that anyone's appreciating what you're doing, or maybe you feel like you're not making enough money, on and on and on. There's a million reasons why artists will feel that way. But there's also a certain element of bravery that comes along with creativity. There's a certain amount of faith that you can, and I'm not saying you need to believe in God or capital G-O-D, God, or be religious or even a super spiritual person, but faith in your work. And that faith will give you the bravery to keep going in what you're doing, to keep working even when you don't feel like you're making any progress. Even if you don't particularly like the work you're making right now, you're brave enough to continue on. You're brave enough to keep walking on this journey, and you have faith that your work is going to get better, because it will. And it just takes, persistence, and that persistence is fueled by your passion, your love for what you're doing. That faith and that bravery to continue on your journey is what is going to lead you to the idea that's going to spark something. You're going to get that idea eventually, and it's going to spark something creative that maybe you didn't see before. Because in this book, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about how ideas, she believes they're physical things. And stay with me here. They're physical things, and an idea floats in the atmosphere, and it comes to you because it chooses you to be its vessel. And if you turn away that idea, if you take that idea and say, no, I don't want that idea is gonna eventually, it's gonna continue to say, come on, come on, come on. And the more you push it away, eventually that idea is going to find someone else who will accept that idea. And she talks about that in this book. She had an idea for a novel that was very specific, a very specific idea for a novel about a woman who goes into the rainforest and blah blah blah, and she decided to not write this novel for many reasons. She put it off for a year and a half, and eventually she met a woman quite randomly who talked to her, and through this conversation she found out this woman wrote almost the same exact novel. So that idea went to someone else because she chose to turn it away. And that's a very interesting concept, whether you believe that to be true or not. I think there's something to it. Ideas, I think any artist will tell you, sometimes they don't know where it comes from. That idea just comes from the atmosphere, and it hits you and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? I know as a musician, sometimes a song, I'll wake up in the morning with a song in my head. I'm like, where did that song come from? Like almost like the lyrics, the music, everything is just there. So it's important that when that idea hits you, you pursue it and you write it down and you record it or whatever you got to do to get that idea and make it real. My favorite idea or concept that Elizabeth talks about in Big Magic is the concept of better done than good. An idea is better done than it is good. So don't worry about how good something is. If you're writing a novel, don't worry about how good it is right now. Just get it done. You're writing a song, get it done. It's better done than good. Because a novel that's not written can't be read. A painting that hasn't been painted can't be hung in a gallery. A song that hasn't been recorded can't be heard by people. It's better done than good. Don't worry about how good it is. Because you know what? The next one will be better. And you can work on it. And you can change it. And you can edit it. But first you got to get it down. So take that in mind and don't be a perfectionist. Don't sit there and squabble and worry about every little line or every little piece or every little color. It's better done than good. I mean, you do your best, and then when it's done, and then you move on. She also mentioned something very interesting. When you feel like you're stuck, or you feel like maybe you've had it, or maybe you're tired of it, you've been struggling for a long time, you've been acting for years and years, and you haven't gotten your big break, or you've been painting and no one cares, you've been writing novel after novel, and every submission you make gets rejected, and maybe you feel like it's time to quit. Well, Elizabeth Gilbert offers something that's maybe kind of shocking, and she says, you know what? Do something else. Maybe do something else for a while. Maybe put that down and take a knitting class. Maybe pursue another job. Maybe put it off. Maybe leave it for a year. Who knows? But sometimes that time off is very good in terms of recharging your own batteries as a creative artist. And maybe that time is what you need. Maybe you've been at it so long that you are kind of stuck and you need to get a fresh perspective, and you need to take a break. Put some distance between yourself and whatever it is you're working on. And then when you've got a little bit more of a objective view of what's going on, come back to it and revisit it, and maybe you'll see it with new eyes, and maybe you'll see it with a little bit more inspiration. And finally, I think the one last thing that I think Elizabeth Gilbert leaves you with is that the bottom line as an artist and as a creative person is your work. So, we all get stressed out, we all worry, and I think as artists, we're creative people. So we have very creative ways of coming up with why we're fucked. We can be really creative about why this is wrong, or why this is why, or why we're scared, or why we're doomed, or why we're never gonna make any money. We're very creative. So we can come up with a lot of scenarios about why our life is gonna be hard, or why we shouldn't pursue it. And what she basically says in this book is just calm down, calm all that down, and just do the work. Because at the end of the day, the work is what matters. So if you can calm these fears that are really just that, they're just fears that you've created, and take that creativity that you're using and put that into your work, and just get the work done. Because you know what? The work needs to get done. What you have to say, it needs to be said because you're the only person that can do it. Your voice is unique because we're all having our own journey here on this planet Earth. So our voice is unique and no one sees the world like you do, no one sees the world like I do. So whatever it is you have to say, it needs to be heard, no matter what it is. So calm down, get the work done, put it on the page, and then move on. Guys, I can't recommend it enough. The novel's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's about creative living beyond fear, and I can't recommend it enough. I've read it twice. Each time I read it, I find something new that I love about it. So if you are looking to expand your creativity and see it through new eyes, please check it out. And let me know what you think. If you guys, let me know what your opinions are on creativity, what your struggles are as an artist, if you are indeed an artist, or if you're thinking about starting a creative project, what your fears are and what your concerns are, and what excites you about it. I want to know. But until next time, my name is Jack, and we'll talk to you soon.